Hi everyone, Kristina Werner here. Welcome to another video for SimonsStamp.com. Today I'm going to be doing a bit of watercoloring, putting a little bit of some pearlescent paints in with it, and then doing a little bit of doodling on top. So I'm going to start by taking a 5x7 piece of watercolor paper. This is Strathmore pre-cut 5x7 watercolor paper, and I'm going to mark the very middle of this paper. So it's 5 inches across, so I'm going to mark it at 2.5, and I'm just going to draw a line right there so I can see that center, and then I'm also going to mark the center going the other direction. And since this is 7 inches tall, it's going to be 3.5 inches down this direction. Alright, so my plan today is to have 6 equal size squares, making kind of like a window pane pattern on this. So I want each square to be about 1.25 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and cut some cardstock to use as a guide while I draw out where the squares will be. Here's my black square of cardstock. I'm just going to use this as a template. So I want the black square to be right center on this middle line, since I'm going to have 3 squares vertically. So I'm going to make a little mark right here and a mark right here, and now I'm going to draw those pencil lines using my T-square ruler. So now I know exactly where that row of squares will be. I'm going to take some tape here. Since I'm going to be watercoloring this, I need to use a masking tape. I don't want to use a masking paper because the water will destroy the masking paper and then I won't be able to use it. So I'm just going to tape this down to my surface here just for a split second, and I'm going to eyeball this. It's going to be about 1/4 inch, and I'm going to use a craft knife just to cut this tape. And I'm going to need actually a few strips that are this length. Probably can use this one, cut it apart a little bit. And I'm going to cut another strip so I can use it. I'm just eyeballing these. They don't have to be precise. Okay, taking one of these strips, and I'm going to place it directly over the top of that line that I drew earlier that goes down the center of my card, through the center of this 5x7 watercolor paper. So I have a vertical stripe of masking tape, and then I have these two right here. I'm going to do masking tape above and below. And because it doesn't have to be super wide, I'm going to go ahead and cut this tape down so I can use it twice. Alright, putting that right above, and this one will be right below. So now I can take my little black square, which has wandered off. Here we go. I can take that black square and I can nestle it into this corner, and I can make 2 marks, one on each side. And I'm going to make a mark over here as well. And then I'm going to do the same thing for these 2 spots up here. This is going to give me the perfectly sized squares for all of my watercolor painting. Okay, let me make sure I have these pressed down really well, so that no paint will creep underneath. Alright, I'm going to cut this piece of tape down so it's the right width. So now I'm going to just connect those 2 dashes right here that I drew earlier. There's the bottom, and there's the top. And for these final 2 sides, they don't have to be cut down because I won't be painting past those edges. So these can just go all the way down. Make sure I really press that down into that watercolor paper. Okay, so here are the 6 squares that I'll be painting. Just to make it easier on myself, I'm going to go ahead and tape up these other areas so I'm not tempted to accidentally paint those. Alright, I'm going to take a minute and really press down with my fingertips all of these edges. This is going to make sure I have a really clean removal of the tape and not have any paint seeping underneath. Okay, so now I'm going to get to the painting. Today I'm using the watercolor set from American Crafts. This is the Paper Fashion watercolor set. Kind of been obsessed with this set recently. And I'm going to do some really simple painting, just wetting these areas first and then dropping in color. And I'm also going to be using some pearlescent paints. These are from Finetech. This is the pearlescent color set. And I'm mostly just going to be using this gold shade right here, which, and I checked the back of the box, believe that is pearl gold. So this one right here, I'm going to be dropping in some gold. I'm going to do this in layers. I'm going to do the color layers and then I'll drop in the gold after. You'll see how it goes. I'm going to turn on some music so you can enjoy the painting, but that's basically what I'm doing. As you can see, the pearlescent paint sort of sits up on top of that watercoloring. I did mostly all pinks, reds, and blues because I knew adding this gold yellow on top would introduce yellow, which would kind of make a whole rainbow spectrum. So those are the colors I have on my project today. I'm going to go ahead and peel back all of this masking tape, and here is where the magic happens. I love this. I've said it before and I'll say it again. It's like Christmas morning when you're removing any type of masking. And I'm glad I put that additional bit of tape on the top and bottom because I did sort of paint off the edge here. Okay, when I'm peeling back the tape, I'm folding the tape back completely on itself. You can see how clean that is. Looks like I may have got a little bit of paint right there. I'll be able to fix that up with a sanding eraser. As you can see, that gives me a really clean edge. Okay, you can see how clean all of those sections are. All right, I've still got these pencil lines on here, so I'm going to use this eraser just to erase all of those pencil lines. All right, I've got this little dot over here of watercolor. I'm going to zoom in so you guys can see it. This little tiny dot right here. I'm going to use a sand eraser from Tombow. And what this does is it really gently takes away the very top layer of that paper. It's already getting lighter. I'm just going to really gently keep erasing until this paint is completely gone. You could also use just a little bit of water, re-wet the area and sop it up with a paper towel. That tends to help too, but I wanted to show you guys this little trick here. And it really gently sands away that surface so you can barely even see it now. It's practically gone. Now I'm going to take the Hello Darling stamp set from Simon Says Stamp, and I'm going to use all of these little itty bitty individual stamps. So I'm going to grab an acrylic block, and I'm going to be using the Barely Beige ink color because I'm actually going to stamp these and then go over them with a white gel pen. And I'm only going to stamp 3 sections because I want the other sections to be left just as is. I'm going to use just a little bit of Post-it tape. I could have also just left the blue masking tape on, but I totally spaced it, and I will be able to reuse these when I move on to the other squares. So I'm just putting that masking tape around that square. Barely Beige was a little too light, so I'm going to switch to Hydrangea. Hopefully that will give me enough color that I can see where I'm stamping. Perfect. And for this final square, it's just going to be groupings of 3 dots. I actually think the purple ink looks really, really cool considering the color palette. But I'm now going to go over all of the purple ink with a white gel pen. And I'm going to use the number 5. This is the Fine Line white gel pen from Jelly Roll. Take that back. We're switching to the number 10. It's just a little bit more bold, so it won't take quite as long to outline all of these little flowers. For these other sections, I'm going to do just a really simple lined border just to offset them and give them a little bit of the white detail that the other squares have. One of my tips for using a Jelly Roll pen or any gel pen in general is to have a really light touch. If you're pressing too hard, the gel ink can't come out of the pen. So if you're having issue getting your gel pen to work, try using a really, really light touch so that you're barely letting the pen kiss the surface of the paper. And whenever my pen starts kind of acting up, if I just remind myself to use a really light touch, that seems to get it working again. I'm now going to take the Take Care dies from Simon, and I'm actually going to cut these out about 4 times so that I can stack them so they'll have some dimension when I put them on the front of the card. I'm using Gina K Connect glue and just doing dabs of glue kind of all over each one of these die cuts, and then before I adhere it down, I'm just going to pounce it onto some scratch paper, and then I can put it directly over the top of the other die cut. Then I pick it up and I use my fingers to help get it lined up just perfectly. So I've got 2 layers together. I'm going to add on the other 2 on top. And that's about when my microphone died. So now you have my voiceover here. Hello. I took some white cardstock. This is Neenah Classic Crest Solar White 110-pound cardstock, and I cut it to 10 by 7 to create a 5 by 7 card base. Scored it at 5, and then I folded it and adhered the watercolor piece down to the front of the card. I'm using some tape runner adhesive. This is Tombow Extreme Adhesive, And then I just press that down onto the front of the card. That's a really great adhesive for adhering watercolor paper because it's super, super strong. Then took that Gina K Designs Connect glue and dabbed it onto the back of each of these words, and then used my tweezers to help get those placed just perfectly on the front of the card. And that is the card for today. You can see that beautiful pearlescent paint right on top of that watercoloring. I think it looks absolutely gorgeous and gives just a little bit of shine to this card. So I want to remind you that you can check out all of the supplies that I used on today's card down below in the video description. All those links go to simonstamp.com so you can purchase those supplies right away. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I appreciate your support. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure you give it a big thumbs up and also subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss another video again. Once again, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.